Hi, this is Alan Lee, and welcome to Exercise 2 for Oak Merge training. This is importing history into ACT. As usual, we start with the Oak Merge user guide, the PDF guide that comes with it. We go to the table of contents to find the appropriate exercise. The one we were doing is exercise number 2, merging merging information into history. So the way this example works is we go to the sample folder and we bring a history CSV into ACT, and the manual goes through, okay, here's how you set it up, here's how you do the merge, here's what you need to map, here's what you can optionally map, and has some tips and tricks for how to do it. From the ACT side, I've got the ACT demo database open, and we've got information available, so we'll be going through this. Emily Dunn currently has no history, one entry of history, so we're going to add some history to Emily Dunn and some other records, for example. We go over to Oak Merge, which we can start up by typing OAK on a Windows 8 machine, or go under the Start menu to find it. So it opens up here. We go Next, and we pick the source file. We could be importing from XML, Access, Excel spreadsheet, delimited, depending on the version of Oak Merge you have. Our example is delimited. The rest of, regardless of the source, is still, the rest of it will work the rest. We can just double click here and go find the history file, and notice that it has information that we're going to bring in. We're bringing some stuff in to Emily Dunn, and looks like an attachment called a roadmap. Looks like we're bringing in a phone call completed, and they're dated 7/7, 7/2, 7/3, basically some 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All this information will come in. Okay, so we've got the history file coming into the demo database. Since it's single user, the username is optional. It'll warn you if you need it. So we go to the history table. It's going to automatically map, and we're going to map the contact name to link to the history back to the contact person. We can use the GUID, the full name, or there's a third thing called the Oak Merge ID. You can create a field called Oak Merge ID and use that to link history back to the person. You can put anything in that you want. Read about that in the manual if you need to know how to do that. And then the rest of it is really concerning the actual history itself. So we've got a regarding, we've got a type of history like call, meeting, to do, completed, whatever, and then I've got the date of the history information. I click on display only, and this is what we saw in the manual. We're mapping link to this history item to the contact based on contact name. I've got a history type, regarding, and start time. This is the minimum 4 fields to bring history into ACT. So we're not mapping a couple of things in our file, that's fine. And I'm going to run a validate or preview just to see, hey, I want to see, any errors, warnings, anything goes on. I'm going to pick full logging and run in validate mode. Now this doesn't write anything to ACT, but it says if you do this, we're reading 10 and we can add 8, but there are a couple that get skipped due to errors. So I come down here and say, well, show me those 2, and it says, why are these skipped? Well, one skipped because a required field is blank, and that's the regarding. Another one has a blank regarding, and it also has a empty field for type. So we can fix the regarding one. The type one, you'd have to go into the data and fix. So let's do another run and go down to the bottom and pick merge rules. And for the regarding, there's a transformation on the right side that says if this field is blank, substitute a period. So if the regarding field is blank, it'll put a period there. So if you had something like call completed on this date, meeting held on this date, but there was no regarding from the data you're bringing in, by using a period there, that would allow the actual name of the history type, such as call completed, and the date to come in as a history item, because this will allow it to run. So if we run that again, we should be back to, I believe, 1 error. Yeah, so we got 1 error, which was really the one related to the type is empty, and there's something, we don't have a transformation for that. So let's do another run, and instead of a validate, we're going to do a complete run or a test run. Now, test run, this is in trial mode, so we can't do complete run because we're trialing it, but we'll do a test run for 10 rows. So we're doing test run for 10 rows. And let's do a run. Okay. And it runs. It actually adds rows to the ACT database. And if we come in here and look up Emily Dunn, we'll see that it added some of these call completed, this happened, these things get added to her record. So it added a couple of links there about information that's out there. It added some call completed, it added etc. Now in the second merge, we show how to add this type of thing and to map it so that it is attached, so you can double click and actually open the attachment up by double clicking on it. That's not the way we mapped it that time. We just put in the regarding, but you can do it so you can, if it's a document, you have that document available, you can link to it and bring in the history, and you'll have a little icon there so you can double click. That's the next exercise. Exercise 3 explains how to do these with attachments. So in wrapping that up, there was a tip I wanted to mention here in the manual, and that is number 1 is that only certain types are supported. So if you look here, we've got a list of known good types. These are history types such as call completed, to do done, and we also have some that do not work, such as vacation, custom types, marketing calls, anything custom, contact deleted, field deleted, updated opportunity. These all on the right don't work. So if you export history from one ACT database into some format like CSV and you want to import it, you'll need to change the values that are not on the approved list to be on the approved list, such as to do done. I use to do done a lot, and then you might put the original in as a detail, and then you can save that. But though that's the way that the ACT does its imports, and those have to be supported types. And the final tip at the bottom is also useful, and that is that when you're bringing in things and you link to the contact, you probably don't need to link to the company too. You just link to the contact. If you link to the company, you'll have 2 different links for the same history, and it creates extra rows of history in the database. And so by having one in the contact, if the company's linked, then you'll be able to see that history, and it'll be a single line because it'll roll up and be displayed at the company level because it's linked to the contact level. So that really works the best way. So that's how you bring data from external files into history, appending that information using Oak Merge. Thanks for watching.